Babe, I was watching this guy's TikTok, and he was talking about the rent prices and how he doesn't even understand how people are surviving today in these economic times. Also, how here's my gripe with all of this inflation stuff. Even before the tariffs were set in place, you had these companies increasing prices on everything, even though those tariffs were not in place at that time. I feel like these companies honestly use these times to make more money instead of just waiting until these things actually happen.
Well, no, you're not.
And I think that's scammy, and I think that's bullshit.
It's not scammy. You're a business owner. Now, you don't deal in commodities, but think like a person that does deal in commodities. Say you sell cars, and you know that all of your prices for your inventory are about to go up. And you know that that's going to happen in 90 days. What are you going to do? Of course you're going to try to get out in front of that. You have to. I don't fault the businesses for responding to the writing on the wall.
But the markup on those items are still up. You know what I mean? On all of these. That's what I'm saying. They don't need to raise the prices that much more. They're already profiting. They know they are. I'm a business person too, so I do know that. So, they're playing everybody. They're playing everybody in their face on these damn costs, and it's bullshit.
Most businesses run
There's no yogurt, no gallon yogurt should cost $7.50.
I don't know what it costs to make that yogurt, so I can't say
that. They don't cost that.
How do you know? I don't know. I don't know what their costs are. Now, obviously, some of this stuff...
I could get all of the ingredients and make it for less than.
Right. And
you lot less than.
Stand here and make it.
And I will. Because it's getting to this whole point where people are going to have to sit back and start making their own things in order to afford things.
First of all, no one even understands what inflation is. It's a boogeyman word that gets thrown around. Inflation isn't good or bad. It's just a thing. Inflation is the rise of the cost of goods and services over time. That's it.
But this wasn't no over time. They did it to get ahead of it, which they shouldn't have.
Like you got it all figured out. Well, I mean, there's hyperinflation, there's faster inflation. Inflation is just the rise over time. So what's the problem is these companies, some do use it to raise their prices higher than they should. But they're trying to stay out in front of economic policies. So I don't know what the answers are. Obviously, now, when you get the pandemic, people definitely were using that as an excuse to raise their prices super fast and super high. The problem with this
country, you don't see that being scammy.
In some cases it is, in some cases it's not. It depends on the business and what their overhead is and what their cost is and what they're dealing with. That's the thing. There's targeted inflation, which is when you're measuring cars or groceries or housing. And then there's just general inflation, which is measuring the actual general cost of living increase over time. The problem in this country is not inflation, because inflation is just natural. It just happens. The problem is we have not kept up with inflation. Our wages have not kept up with it. Of course. Well, that's the problem. You're not going to fix inflation. You can do things. You can raise interest rates to curb spending and kind of put pressure on businesses and consumers to combat inflation, but you're never going to stop inflation. The number only goes up.
Well, even with rent prices, that needs to start coming down and regulating.
It won't.
It needs to.
It won't. It won't. The number never goes down. Go up.
A lot of these apartments ain't even worth that price. I would never even pay that price.
They're
Fuck
not.
That.
You're right.
And I saw the writing on the wall since 2008, since, the first housing crisis that we had.
Everybody talked about inflation during the pandemic. That's all we heard about was inflation, 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 inflation. Has any price for anything gone down since then?
No, and that's the problem.
No, that's just how it works.
Okay, but hold on.
You have to keep up with inflation.
Okay, here's my thing. Because I feel like I'm the only motherfucker who thinks on a human level.
You are.
I care about people.
Level. It's a business.
Well, they need to start thinking on the aspect of a human level. We have people out here in the streets struggling. We have kids on the street homeless. We have people going into stores taking stuff because they're in a desperate situation. Right. It's just like, stop.
No,
this needs to stop.
It won't ever stop. That's capitalism. Capitalism is make the money. Nothing else matters.
You know how wrong that is?
Doesn't matter. That's what the system is. I'm not up here yelling at you, telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you no one cares what you think. This is capitalism. These businesses do not care. Flat out, pay the shareholders, make the money, burn the world down in the process. Does not matter. We are in end stage capitalism. Make the money. That's it. There's no other thing. And until things get bad enough for the system to fall apart, or the people in charge realize that things are bad enough to put regulations in place to curb this stuff, this country doesn't need to raise their minimum wage.
Just stop spending money where you don't need to spend your money, and then they'll get hurt. That
doesn't matter. They'll still make more money. They'll still keep making money. And if they make less money, they'll raise the price on the people that do spend their money to make up the difference. Because all that matters is the bottom line. I'm not standing up here telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you they don't care. There's a difference. I agree with you. But I'm up here being real with you. They do not care.
I understand that. But at some point...
Yes, when the bottom falls out and there's a revolution and there's blood in the streets,
why even wait to get there?
Because
why even take your chances?
Care. They don't care. Make the money. Make it. Any cost. No matter how many lives, no matter how many people are homeless, no matter what. I just read an article. Do you know what the base model Ford Bronco started costing today?
What was
it? The base model. The V6 stripped out piece of shit, nobody wants it one.
Which one?
$78,000.
That's disgusting.
$78,000. Now, not everybody needs a Ford Bronco, and I know not everyone's going to go buy that car, but this is where we're headed. Get the money. If you have less customers, you raise the price to make up the difference. So, as I was saying, combating inflation is just inflation. It's not a boogeyman. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. The problem is that this country has not kept up with it. You don't need a minimum wage raise in this country. You need a maximum wage cap.
Yes, I agree with that.
You need a cap on what things cost. You need to make basic goods and services considered utilities that are capped by the government or the local government or whatever. Right now, my electric bill has gone up from $90 a month to $170 a month. And I'm on a budget plan with the lowest rates. I shopped around. We're paying the least we can possibly pay. And in the past 2 years, my bill has fucking doubled. Through no fault of my own. We got new appliances that are better for our electricity. Every light bulb in this house is fucking LED and uses nothing, yet my bill has fucking doubled. These motherfuckers don't care. So when I sit here and I yell and I get worked up, I'm not telling you you're wrong. You're right. People should care about people. This should not be the way it is, but this is the way that it is. So standing here going, I don't understand why nobody cares about anybody. Why would they? There's no money in caring about people. And we've created a system that only cares about money. So that's it.